In chapter number 11, Lord Krishna's entrance to Dwarka. So there we saw that how the people of Dwarka were so much feeling dejected because of the long absence of Lord Krishna from Dwarka. So as soon as they heard the concept, they feel relieved from the rejection. They felt so happy, and so they wanted to see the Lord. They were, offering the prayers to Lord Krishna. So finally, they offered different prayers. Started that, that you are worshipped by Brahma, Sanas, four Kumaras, all those things. They are well deserved of everyone, the spiritual masters and worshipable deities. They are offering all those prayers, saying that you go away to Mathura, Vrindavan, or Hastinapur with your friends and relatives. So for them, every moment of absence seems like millions of years. So they were expressing their feelings, their feeling during the separation from Lord Krishna. Okay. So then, finally, Lord Krishna smiles and accepts their prayers, and accepting the prayers, he enters into Dwarka city. So we have seen in this point. We are on the church, slope number 11. Then this is Madhu Bhoja Dasara Dasa Harha Kukurandaka Vishnibi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavati Iva. This is as Bhogavati, the capital of Nagloka, is protected by the Nagas. So was the Dwarka protected by the descendant of Vishnu, Bhoja, Madhu, Dasara, Kukura, Andhaka, who were who were as strong as Lord Krishna. And then they continue. Sarva Sarvatu Sarva Vibhava Pumya Viksha Latasmi Ramhem Jnana Upana Ramer Ruta Padama Karasriyam. The city of Dwarkapuri. So this is a glorification of Dwarka city. The city of Dwarkapuri was filled with the opulence of all seasons. There were hermitage, orchards, flower garden, park, and reservoir of water breeding lotus flower all over. Gopur Gopura Dwara Margesu Tatoranam Chitradhvaja Patakar Kagrir Anta Prati Hatatapam. City gateway, the household doors, festoon, arch along the roads were all nicely decorated with the festive sign like plantain trees and mango leaves, all to welcome the Lord. So when Lord, sometimes very important personality comes when we decorate our place, right? But here the personality of God himself was there. So how the city was decorated, so all those things are mentioned. Sometime, sorry, during the festival, we decorate the temple. The decoration is based on this kind of decoration. So all those decoration was to welcome the Lord. Flags, garlands, and painted signs and slogans all combined to share the sunshine. Okay, so almost all the you can read. So all those decoration were made from the things collected from the nature, such as plantain tree, mango tree, fruits, flowers, and all those things. Okay, so the flags were mentioned with the picture of Garuda or Hanuman, to great servitor of the Lord. For devotees, such a paintings and decoration are still adored, and the servitors of the masters paid more respect for the satisfaction of the Lord. Yeah. Samarjitam. This is very important line in the previous paragraph, previous verse. The flags mentioned above are all painted with the picture of either Garuda or Hanuman. Flags were, Garuda Hanuman Katha, the two great servitors of the Lord. So why was this? It is said, if you love me, then love my dog. So for devotees, such a paintings and decoration are still adored, and servitor of the master is paid more respect for the satisfaction of the Lord. So when the son is glorified, father is more happy. So to please Krishna, so all were carrying the flags painted with the Garuda and Hanuman. So Lord, seeing this, that these devotees are so nicely, have glorifying and appreciating that his other devotees like Garuda and Hanuman. That's why Lord is more pleased with his devotee. He says, Samarjitam Mahamarga Pratyapana Chatvaram Sikam Ganda Jaler Uttam Phala Puspa Shatankurha. The highway, subway, lanes, market, and public meeting place were all thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with the scented water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flower, unbroken seeds were strewn everywhere. I remember, when I was in the school. So as soon as we enter in the school in the morning, first of all we need to clean the school. अभी तो कोई clean करवाता नहीं है school, but I remember on our days we used to clean the school. पूरा, whole ground we used to clean. After cleaning the school, we used to plug the flowers. Then we were making a garland. And in the school rooms, means individual classroom, there were some pictures of uh, some gods or demigods. So after making a garland, we used to offer, especially Saraswati Mata. We used to offer that garland to Saraswati Mata, and we are also decorating the door of this our classroom. So all those things are utilized. And paintings are made through seeds like rice and all those things. Okay. The scented water prepared by distilling flowers like rose, fiora were used to moisten the road so that smell fragrance will come out. If you have taken a fragrance of the natural basic flower, it's so fragrant. Nowadays, you find the rose flower, its petals will not fall off, but they don't have smell. But if you see natural flower, that petal will not sustain long time together, but it's so fragrant. Okay. So from the above description, it appears that city of Dwarka town was considerably big, containing many highways, streets, public meeting place with the parks, garden, and the reservoir of water. All were nicely decorated with flower and fruits. And to welcome the Lord, such a flower and fruit with unbroken seed of grains were also strewn over the public place. Unbroken seed of the grains or fruit in the seeded in the stage were considered auspicious, and they are still so used by the Hindus in the on general on Hindus in general on festival days. I remember in our house earlier they used to perform some yajna or homa. So they used to decorate with the rice and all those things. It says Dvari Dvari Gruhanam Dadyakshata Phalekshubhi Alankruta Purna Bear Pali Bhir Pali Bhir Dhupa Deepake. Each and every door of the residential houses, auspicious things like curd, unbroken fruit, sugarcane, and full water pots with article for worship, incense, and candle were displayed. This is again the description that how the decoration was performed. Okay. So, so the process of reception is not dry as per the Vedic scripture. The reception was made not simply by decorating the roads and streets, as above mentioned, but by worshipping the Lord with the requisite ingredients like incense. So, some Lord came, then they used to worship using incense, lamb, flower, sweet, fruit, and other palatable vegetables, according to one's capacity. They also worship. All were offered to Lord and the remnants of the foodstuff were distributed amongst the gathering citizens. So it was not like a dry reception of these modern days. अभी तो प्लास्टिक के फूल डाल देते हैं. Each and every house was ready to receive the Lord in similar way. Thus, each and every house on the roads and streets distributed such the remnants of food to the citizen, and therefore the festival was successful. Without distribution of food, no function is complete, and that is the way of Vedic culture. सम्यप्रष्टमायन्तं वसुदेवो महामना अक्रूरस् उग्रसेनस्य रामस्य अद्भुतविक्रमा प्रद्युम्नस्य चारुदेशनस्य साम्बो जाम्बवती सुत प्रहर्षवेगो वेगो सित सयानास भूषानः. On hearing that the most dearest dear Krishna was approaching Dwarka Dham, so who all approached? Magnanimous Vasudev, Akrura, Ugrasen, Balram, the superhumanly powerful Pradyumna, Charudeshena, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoning resting, sitting, and dying. So in purport, who is Vasudeva and everything is mentioned. So they were very happy to receive and they were in very hurry. And he says, Varanendra Purustutya Brahmane Sasi Mangale Sankha Surya Nina Dena Brahma Koshena Chadruta Prasyu Ujjagno Ratya Dushta Pranaya Data Sadhavasa. They hastened towards the Lord on the chariot with Brahmanas wearing flowers. They approach, they have taken a brahmana so that when someone great personality comes, they recite the mantra. Before them were the elephants, emblems of good fortune, conch-shell, bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns are chanted. Thus they offer the respect which were saturated with affection. Even sometimes our Guru come and also we have to the Sakshat Harikana Samasta Sastra. Guru is should be worshipped as good as God. He's not God, but he worshipped at the level of God. When we receive, we welcome the Guru. We should welcome him like this way. So that is the person atmosphere of it, which is saturated affection and veneration for the person received. So how to receive that personality, especially Dhruv and Acharya and all. So that is also we can learn from here. The auspicious atmosphere of such a reception depends on the paraphernalia described above, including conch shell, flower, incense, decorated elephant, qualified brahmana reciting verse from the Vedic literatures. Such a program of reception is full of sincerity on the part of both the receiver and the received. It is an enlivening program. It's not just right. Varumukhya sataso Yanuskadarsam Suga Lasatkum So at the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on the various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Okay, so now Dwarka में prostitutes you may have a question there. Okay, so this clarified in the purport. So we may not hate even the prostitute if they are devotee of the Lord. So what does it mean? Okay, so they had that kind of habit earlier, but later on they accepted devotion service. Okay, it is clarified. Even to the death, there are many prostitutes in the great cities of India who were sincere devotees of the Lord. By trick of the chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in the society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Okay. So even if you have read that Bhagavad Gita verse number 9.11 32, I think. What is Hare Krishna?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Am I audible?
यस प्रभु जी।
Okay. Yeah. So, like, if even these kind of people are there, prostitute and all, there is nothing wrong if they accept devotional service. So, how? So, Krishna says that in the chapter number 9. Okay. So, what he says, very famous verse. Okay. That even if one commits the most abominable action, if his action engage in the devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. This is one verse. Api chestu duracharo bhajante mam manandekar sadhana sambandhe samya vyavadi vaishnava. So it doesn't mean that we have to intentionally commit. जानबूझ के करना नहीं है, then no, you will be afflicted by the ninth offense. To sorry, not ninth, seventh offense. To committing the sinful activity on the strength of the holy. The accidentally ho gaya, then okay, that's different thing. So then he says, what will happen to those who are engaged in the sinful activity but they have accepted the devotional service later on? Then Sitram bhavati dharmatma satvam shantim nigachyati. Pante pratijani name bhakta pranasati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains the lasting peace. So son of Kunti declared boldly that my devotee never perishes. Then he says, again, this is very important verse. Mani partha vipasrita ye api supapa yonaya. Striyo vesha tatha sudras te api yanti paramgati. O son of Buddha, those who are take shelter in me, though they may be lower birth means uh, woman, Vishya and Sudra. And Mami partha vipasrita, Mami Partha Gopasriya, we have to Pap Yoni. Then what is the Pap Yoni? Pap Yoni is even the lower than these things, Vaishya and Sudras. Who are those? The dog eaters, Chandalas, Yavanas, they are called Pap Yonis. And, someone is engaged in prostitution, all sinful activities. So one of the sinful activities, prostitution is also one of the sinful activities. So what will happen to them? All attain the supreme destination if they take a shelter of Lord Krishna. Then Krishna tells that Kim Puna Brahmana Punya Bhakta Rajashrestata Anityam Asitham Lokam Imam Prati Bhajasam. How much more this is so? So even how much this is how much more this is so for the righteous Brahmana, the devotee, simply thinks. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in the loving service to the Lord. End of the day, you have to engage. So then Krishna ends with saying this verse. So that's why Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyadi mam namaskaru mam evase atmana mad parayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance to me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely will come to me. So whatever papa you are doing, you know, so sometimes what happens, we have engaged in prostitution, sorry, not we, but someone has engaged in prostitution activity and they later on they become a devotee of the Lord. Then what will happen? So you see in the case of Haridas Thakur, one prostitute came and she came to tempt Haridas Thakur and but Haridas Thakur made her devotee. So we don't have to do this, We are not on the level of Haridas Thakur. Okay? So then she become a devotee. And that is one more thing. There are so many such examples. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. But tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very admirable. Who was the Kubja when she was converted from hunchback woman to beautiful lady? She offered Lord Krishna and come to enjoy her. That was indirectly prostitution. Since she invited Lord Krishna and Krishna didn't indulge in physically, but just because she approached that way to Krishna, she was purified. So that we can read in the Krishna. Okay. So, but by seeing this thing, one thing we learn that even very degraded people approach the Lord, they can be purified. That lesson we can learn from this part. Okay. So, by trick of chance, one may be obliged to adopt profession which is not very adorable in the society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. There is nothing which can check devotional service. It is understood that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in the cities like Dwarka, where Lord Krishna has said. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of the society. The government open wine shop, but this does not mean that government encourage the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost. It has been experienced that prohibition in the great city encourage illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such a concession if there is no prostitution. In such a low man, we induce other into prostitution, so they will do forcefully. Anyway, so I'm not qualified to discuss this subject matter. Okay. It is better that these things are available. So Prabhupada gives the example of Vilomangal Thakur, great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav said in his householder life was overly attached to prostitute who happened to be devotee of the Lord. So I don't know whether who has heard. Some of you might have heard about Vilomangal Thakur. If you go to Vrindavan, there is a Samadhi of Vilomangal Thakur. She was attached to prostitute and she was devotee of the Lord. So one night when Vilomangal Thakur came to Chintamani, her name was Chintamani's house, in torrent of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see that Thakur could come in such a dreadful night after crossing the foaming river, which was full of waves. So this prostitute used to stay in the other side of the river, and it was heavy flood. So Bilomangal Thakur was feeling so much separation, so much hankering for her that he wanted to cross the river. And he sat on one thing, dead body, and he crossed the river. Chelsea was staying on the first floor. So how to climb first floor? So by holding the snake, considering it as a rope, he entered inside her house from the window. Okay. So he was so much attracted by that prostitute. She said to Thakur that, she was surprised when Bilomangal Thakur came that way. She said to Thakur Bilomangal that this attraction for the flesh and bone of insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve the attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. So now same prostitute, told Bilomgar Thakur, you are unnecessarily attracted by this flesh and bone of useless woman. She's talking about her. Uh-huh. So, but if you would have utilized this attraction for the Lord, for the transcendental beauty of the Lord, then what will happen? Sorry, you could have utilized it for that. And as soon as this Bilomgar Thakur heard this, it was momentous hour for Thakur and took a turn towards spiritual realization by the word of Krishna. And immediately Bilomgar Thakur gave her up and he started for Vrindavan. So while going to Vrindavan, again, and he saw one lady and he was chasing her. So and that lady entered in the house and she told her husband that this man is chasing me. So the man told him, he seems like a devotee, fulfill his desire. So then, Bilomgar Thakur requested that lady, can you give me that needle which you used to hold your sari? So she gave, and as soon as he took that needle, the pin, then he uh, made him blind himself using that pin. So please, you don't know. No? So then, he started for Vrindavan. So that was the inspiration he got from that prostitute. So, okay, if they are devotees, there is nothing wrong. But why somehow they have been entered in that business. So it was momentous hour of Thakur and it took the spiritual path by the words of prostitute. Later on, Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master in several places. And in several places of his literary work, he has glorified the name of Chintamani to show him the right path. So, which is the book he has written? Krishna Karanamrut. That means the things which give the pleasure to the ear of Lord Krishna. And again, we have discussed this 9.32. So it appears that prostitutes of Dwarka who were so eager to meet the Lord were all his unalloyed devotee, and thus they were all on the path of salvation according to above version of Bhagavad Gita. So of course, during the Ras Leela fasting, also many uh, ladies were attracted towards Lord Krishna just to fulfill their lusty desire. But since their attraction was for Lord Krishna, they have been purified. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in the society is to make the organized effort to turn the citizen into devotees of the Lord, and thus all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualification. We have discussed this thing again and again. If they become devotee, so even the prostitute can also show the way if they are devotee. That is what. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Okay. Then he says, Nata Nartaka Gandharva Sutamagadavandina Gayanti cha Uttama Sloka Saritani Adbhutani cha. The expert dramatist, artist, dancer, singer, historian, genealogist, and learned speaker all gave their respective contribution, being inspired by the superhuman past of the Lord. And thus they proceeded on and on. भगवांस्तत्र बंधूनां पुराणम् अनुवर्तिनं यथा विद्युपसंगम्य सर्वेषां मादते. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friend, relative, citizen, and all other who came to receive and welcome him. Okay. So now, how everyone was approaching Lord, so that we discussed. Now, how Lord is reciprocating with them, we will discuss tomorrow. So now the Lord is uh, acknowledging their welcome. So how is acknowledging? We continue tomorrow. So thank you very much. If you have any question, comment for that, you can unmute.